Hello guys, welcome back to Modern Web. Well, if you are new to my channel, make sure you subscribe the channel right now. In today's video, we will learn to make this social media website. Well, this is the first part of it and we will make its backend in the upcoming videos. In this video, we will make only its front end. We will make three pages: the home page, the post page and the user page. So before starting the video, let's see the demo. You can see in the home page we have beautiful navbar. This navbar have a beautiful logo and the search box in the middle. After the search box we have these small nav icons, and if we click on the heart icon you can see we are getting the activity pop-up. We'll make this in today's video and it's look awesome. After the navbar we have this post section. We have the post header, the post image, and we also have a user info on the right side. We have these little icons of interaction, and we have the like button and the description and add comment input box. It's look awesome. And also if we click on the like button of the post, we are getting the red heart animation, and we are getting this a smooth effect also. If we click on the send button, we are getting the send link option where we can copy the post link. You can see I successfully copied the post link. So we will make these things in today's video. We have these beautiful images and posts in our home page. And on the right side, we have a little bit information about the user who is logged in, and we have some user suggestions to follow. We have simple user cards with the follow btn buttons. Yeah, so this was our home page, and we have this post page. In this post page we have the same navbar, and we have the large image post with the details on the right side. We also have the comments here, and we have the comment input at the very bottom, and the interactions also works here. So isn't it great? And the third page which we'll make in today's video is user page. This user page contains information about user, and it's a user profile. So we have the same navbar here, and after the navbar we have a user bio with the user dp here with the website link also, and we have some numbers on the right side. Then we have this beautiful follow button, edit buttons, and then we have this post post section gallery. Whenever if we click on the post we get the post pop-up, and this post pop-up is same as the post page. After this we have the suggestions to follow at last, and the suggestions card is a slider which is awesome, and that's it. We are going to create these things in today's video. So this is we are going to create in today's video. So if you are interested, make sure you subscribe the channel right now and like this video. It really motivates me, and before starting you can download its source code from the description. So without wasting more time, let's get started. Before we code, you can see the folder structure. We have a css folder for our css files, and we have an image folder. You can download this image folder from the description. After that we have a javascript folder containing our post.js, and then we have the index.html file. Perfect. Now let's start coding. So inside index.html file, write a basic HTML template and give it a title. Let's say socialize. Perfect. And then link the style.css file. Good. I'm going to use this Poppins Google Fonts here, so you can search it in the Google font, and you can copy the link tag here. I'm using only three font weights here: regular, medium and semi bold. Copy that link and paste it above style.css file. And now let's make the navbar. Make a nav element and give it a class, let's say navbar. Now let's style the navbar, so copy it, but before that use a star selector to style all the elements and set margin 0, padding 0 of all the elements. This is a good practice to do. After that, make a body, select the body element of course and set its width to 100%, and of course set its position to relative. This is important because our navbar will be the fixed position, so we need something to be relative. Set its font family to Poppins sans serif. Poppins is a Google font that I am using, and set its background to this code. Great, now let's style the navbar. So select the navbar element here and give it a width of, let's say, 100% because we want to cover the whole width. So give it 100% width and set its height to 60 pixels. Give it a position fix so it will be over the screen no matter how much you scroll. Set its top and left to 0. And also give it z index to 9 to make it over all the elements. So make any elements, it will above all the elements, and give it a white background. Also give it a border bottom, 1 pixel solid dark gray color. Yeah, you can see the nav bar. It's looking good. Inside the nav element, make an image element. Give it a source image logo.png. This image is in the image folder. You can download it from the description. Give it a class logo and let's style it. So first give some padding to the navbar element and then set its display to flex because we'll make elements side by side, and set its align item to center to make all the elements vertically center. Now we can select the logo element and set its height to, let's say, 30 pixels to make it little bit smaller. Great. Now make a form. This will be our search box. So make a form element and inside it make an input for our search field. Give its type to text of course, and let's say give it a class to form search box and give placeholder to the input, let's say search. Also give it a class along with the name because we are using HTML form, so we need a form name. Give it a ID instead of class actually. After that, make a button and give it a class search btn and also give it a type of submit, so it will submit the form which is our search box form. Inside it make an image and give it a search.png source. Great. So if we refresh the page, you can see the input and the search icon. Now let's style it. So copy the search box and paste that search box class inside here and set its width to, let's say, 300 pixels. Yeah, great. Set its height to 40 pixels because our nav bar is of 60 pixels, so 40 pixels is good. Set display to flex to make the element side by side. Now select the search input using ID selector and set its width to 60 pixels because the button will have 40 pixels. Give it a white background using background property, or actually a light white background, and set its border to 1 pixel solid dark gray. Give it some padding if you like, and Use text transform capitalize to make the text capital. Great. Now let's style the button. So select the search btn element. Set its background to white and also give it a border. Also for hand pointer, set its cursor to pointer. Great. Now just remove the left border by setting border left to none and give it a padding, let's say 10 pixels. Now we just have to make the image little bit smaller or a lot smaller. So select the search btn image. Actually, I forgot to give it a class name, so give it this image, give it a class name of search icon and then select the search icon. So select this search icon in the CSS and give its width to 20 pixels and also set its height to 20 pixels. Now it's looking good. Now to create space between the logo and the input, go to navbar and set it justify content to space between. So this property will make space between the elements or between the childrens of navbar. It's looking good. Now let's make the nav icons. So after the form element, make a div element and give it a class, let's say nav links. Inside it, make an anchor element and for now just set its href to a simple hashtag. Give it a class nav link. This will be the link of our pages, and inside this a tag make an image element. This will be the icon, so give it a home icon. Well, in the icons folder we have two version of the icon, fill and no fill version. The active link will have the fill version, so I'm setting it to home fill and make the copy of that and change the icons but set those to no fill, so it will make the sense of active link and non-active links. I hope it's clear. For the last link, set its source to profile image because it will be the account link of the user. So you can see we got the link and the profile image. Now we just have to style it. So copy the nav link here and paste it inside the style.css file. Paste that class here and set its display to flex to make the images side by side. Set align item to center to make the images vertically center and use gap property to make gap between them. Now select the nav icons, which are the image elements of course, and set their widths to 25 pixels and set its height to 25 pixels also. For the hand pointer, set cursor to pointer so it will give the hand pointer, and if we see the output, it's looking good. Now the last link, add one more extra class to it. Add user profile class to it and then let's select it using user profile class. Set its width to 30 pixels to make it little bit bigger. Also set its height to 30 pixels and set border radius to 50% to make it perfect center circle, sorry. Yeah, you can see we got the circle, we got the icons, and it is looking good. Now we want the heart icon to make the activity pop up. So for that, remove the anchor element from there and instead of anchor element, make a div. So this div will contain the image icon and the activity window or activity box. So it's a sort of wrapper to both elements. So give it a class, let's say activity log, and make the icon inside it. After the image icon, make a div element and give it a class activity container. This container will be the box which show the activities. Now let's style the activity container. For that, select the activity log, which is the container of our icon and the container. So set its position to relative and give it a height of 25 pixels, which is same as the icon's height. And then select the activity container and set its width to like 350 pixels and height to auto because we don't know its height, but set its maximum height to 300 pixels. We don't want it to be bigger than that. And also set its position to absolute, and to make it below the navbar set its top property to 200%, not pixel here, 200%. And set it property right to 0 to make it on the right side. And you can give a white background to it with the border of 1 pixel solid dark gray. So if we see the website, yeah, you can see it's because we have given the height of auto, it has no height. So let's make some element inside it. Let's say hello. And since I gave top 200 pixels instead of percent, that's why it's coming too far away from the navbar. So change the top value to 200% and it will fix then. Yeah, it is fixed. Now we just have to create the activity cards. So let's make them. So remove this hello element and make a div here. Give this div a class of, let's say, activity card, and inside it make an image element. This will be the user dp. So give a user image to it and set its class to user dp or whatever you like. I am setting its user image. After that, make a p element and give it a class activity. So this class is this p element will be the description and what activity happened. So inside it, make a b element to make a bolder text, and after that you can write the content. And at last, also make an image element, give it a source of post because this will be the image of our post which is being liked or commented, and give it a class activity posts because it is the post of the activity card. Great, so you can see the user image, the user post, and the user activity. Now let's make this card beautiful with the help of css. So select the activity card here, set its width to 100% and set its display to flex. So in by using flexbox we can make the user image content and the post side by side. Now set its justify content to space between, so it will make space between those three elements. And set its align item center to make the elements vertically centered and give it some padding, let's say 10 pixels. But remove the padding of bottom, so remove the bottom padding, and instead of padding bottom, set its margin bottom. Yeah, it's great. We just have to make the image little bit smaller to see the styles. So now select the user image and set its width to 50 pixels and set its height to 50 pixels to make it a square, and set its border radius to 50% to make it perfect circle. We can't see it because our post image is so big. So let's select the activity post image and set its width to 50 pixels and height to 50 pixels also. Use object fit cover property to make the image in the proportions, and now you can see all three elements and it's looking good. Now select the activity which is the text and set its width to 200 pixels so it will cover more space, and set its font size to 1 rem because so in that case it will be responsive font size. Great. So now let's add the hover effect to it. So use hover CSS selector to activity card, and inside it changes background color to this color, and also set its cursor to pointer to make the hand cursor, and you can see the hover effect. It's looking good. Now if you like, make more cards, and you can change the user image, post image, and the inner content if you like. So yeah, it's done. But now let's add some JavaScript to make it accessible by heart icon. So in the post.js, first of all, let's add the post.js inside our index.html file using script tag. And then in post.js file, since we want to access the activity container by our heart icon, select the heart icon here using document.querySelector method, and pass this activity log.nav icon property to it. Or so copy this activity log class from here and paste it inside, and after that select the nav icon. In this case, in this way you can select the heart icon, and then after that make another variable, let's say activity container, and select the activity container window which we want to show using query selector method. Copy this class and paste it there. Perfect. I hope you know the query selector method. And now add the click event to heart icon using add event listener, and inside it toggle the class name or toggle the class list of activity container. I guess we haven't made the class name yet, but still toggle the class list here, hide class using class list dot toggle, and let's make the hide class now. So to make the hide class, first to select the activity container in the CSS, and then without giving a space add dot hide, so it will create a new class to it, and inside it set its pointer event to none and opacity to 0. So what it will do is it will hide the activity container. Actually, add this hide class to the activity container, not activity log, and it will hide the container. Yes. Now if we go in the JavaScript, so you can see in this JavaScript we are toggling the class. So if we click on the heart icon, you can see I am able to access the activity container. Now we have to toggle the heart icon. So for that, after the activity container line, make a src variable. This will store the source of our heart icon. So in this case, set it equals to heart icon dot source, but we only need the first half of our image name, so split it using split method. So what it will do is it will return the image source without fill or no fill, because this that name is the same for our image, and we just have to toggle the no fill or fill name. After that, use a if else condition and set it like heart icon dot source dot includes no fill. This line means if our heart icon source include no fill text in it. In that case, if it includes no fill, we want it to set its source to be fill.png, and if it doesn't contain no fill, we want it to equals to no fill.png. I hope this makes sense. Well, this makes sense if you know JavaScript, and if you don't know, no worry, you can ask me in the comments. I'll be glad to tell you. And now you can see our class is toggling fine, and our activity icon is also changing its source, so it's looking great. So I guess we are done with the navbar for now. So Now let's make the post section. So our post section and the suggestion will be inside of one section. So make a section element and give it a class main. We call it a main section. And inside it, for the post section, make a div and give this div a class of post container, because this will be the container of our posts. Now let's style the main element. So you can also make a comment in the CSS, so you'll be find easy to change in the futures. Yeah, so select the main class and inside it set its width to 100%, so it will cover the whole space. Also make sure you set its position to relative, because we'll have some absolute elements inside it. Set its margin top to 100 pixels. Yeah, I misspelled it, but you know it, right? And set its display to flex to make the post section and the suggestion section side by side. And also you can give some padding to it. I'm giving it 0 and 10 VW from left and right and 100 pixels from bottom. And to make gap between the elements, use gap property. So we'll not see anything because we don't have any content. So inside it post container, let's say write hello, and you can see the hello in here. Great. Instead of hello now, select the post container in the CSS and let's style it. Set its width to 60%, let's say, because we don't want it to cover full screen. And let's make the post. So for post, make a div and give it a class post, which is a very reasonable class, sensible. Now select the post and set its width to 100%. Also set its border to 1 pixel solid dark gray, so it will be having a dark gray border, and give it background to white. Also give it some margin bottom, let's say 30 pixels, and yeah, you can see a dark gray line. Inside post element, make a div and give it a class post header. This will be the header of our post. And inside this, make an image element and give it a source of user image, because this will be the user icon. So give it a class, let's say user dp or user icon. And after that, make a p, give it a class username. This will be the username of the account. Great. If we refresh the page, you can see the image and the username. Great. Now let's style it. Copy this post header class and paste it inside style.css file. And here set display to flex to make the image and the username side by side. And also set its align item property to center to make the image and username perfectly in the center. Give it some padding, let's say 1.2 rem, and use gap property to make gap between them. Great. Now select the user icon and set its width to 30 pixels and height to 30 pixels. Also give its border radius to 50% to make it a perfect circle. And yeah, now it's great. Now select the username element and set its font size to, let's say, 0.9 rem. Also give it a font weight of 600 to make it little bolder. Great. Now let's make the post element. So yeah, now let's make the post element. For that, after this post header, make a div and here give it a class post feed. Post feed will be the container of our post image and the post activity overlay. we'll create the activity overlay later when we write JS, but for now we just need a div with the class of post image container. So this post image container will contain the images of our posts. We'll also having some carousels in upcoming futures videos, but for now just make two or three images and give its different source. We're not gonna make the carousel in this video, but we'll of course make it in the later upcoming videos. Now let's select the post feed class inside style.css file, and here set its width to 100% with the height of 500 pixels. Also set its position to relative because we're going to have absolute elements inside it. Set it overflow hidden for now. So yeah, you can see the post clearly now. Now select the post image container here because it is the wrapper of our all images, and set its width to 200% with the height of 100%, and set its display to flex to make the images side by side. And if we refresh the page, you can see all the images are coming side by side. Great. Now select the individual image elements, and here set their minimum width to 100%. So it minimum width will be 100% and set its height to 100%. Use object fit property cover to make the image in proportions, and set its transition to 0.5 seconds for smooth effects. Great. Now we can add the overflow hidden to hide the overflow. So inside post image container, set its overflow to hidden, and it's looking awesome. Now after the post feed element, make another div and set its class to post details. This will be the detail of the post, and inside it make another div and give this div a class of detail interaction. So this will be the container of our like, share, comment icons, and inside it make image element, give it a source of heart icon and the share icon and comment icon, and give it this class. So yeah, make two more copy of it because we have two more icons, and change the image source here to send and comment dot png, and also change the class name because these class names are specific, so we can select into the JavaScript. Perfect. Now copy the post detail class and paste inside the style.css file, and let's style it. Just give it some padding, let's say 1.2 rem, and now select the detail interaction, or actually it is detail interactables, but yeah, use display flex to make the icon side by side, and set its gap property to 10 pixels, and now select the icons, set the width to 30 pixels and height to 30 pixels, and set its cursor to pointer to make the hand cursor. Yeah, it's great. Now let's make the description of it. So after this tail intractable, make a span element and give it a class likes. This will be the likes, and you can type anything inside it. After that, make a p element, give it a class username. This will be the username of the account. And after that, make another p element, give it a class post description, and this will be the description about the post. I am using dummy text here, you can also use it. And after the p element, If we refresh the page, you can see we got the likes, username, and the p. So I guess we should style them first. So select the like element inside style.css file and set its color to this. Well, this color is a light gray color, and you can also set its opacity to zero point 0.5 to achieve the same result. Set it display to flex and give its margin to 10 pixels from top and bottom. I don't know why I gave the display flex to it, but yeah. Now select the post username here and set its font weight to 600 to make it little bit bolder, and then select the post description element. If we refresh the page, you can see the likes count and the username is looking good. Now just select the post description and give it a margin of 20 pixels from top and bottom, and set its font size to, let's say, 0.9 ram to make it little bit smaller. Give its line height to 1.5 ram. Give it a line height more than its font size to make a little more spacing, and set its opacity to 0.5. Yeah, it's looking awesome. So we are 50% done with our posts. Now I guess we have to create the comment box. So for that, make a div element here and give a class to it. Let's say comment box. Inside it, make input element and set its type to text. Set its id to comment input, so this will be the text field for our comment box, and set its placeholder to, let's say, add a comment or anything you like. Also make a button element, give it a class add comment, and inside this button make an image element. This will be the icon or of our comment.png. And at last, after the comment box, make a span element, give it a class comment count, so it will be the number of how much comments has the post. Great. Now let's style it. Select the comment box here, set its width to 100% and height to, let's say, 40 pixels. Use display flex to make the button and the input side by side, and give it a border of 1 pixel solid dark gray. And yeah, it's looking good. Now select the comment input using id selector, and inside it set its width to 100% and set its height to 40 pixels. Give it a background of white, or actually this color, not white, and remove its border by border none. Also give it some padding, let's say 10 pixels, and set its line height to 40 pixels also. Set its z index to 2 to make it over all the elements, and set its font size to 1 gram. Yeah. Now select the button. Before that, change the height to 42 pixels so you can see now the border bottom. Yeah. Now let's style the placeholder of the comment box. So select the comment input and use placeholder selector to select the placeholder and change its color. Okay, now select the add comment btn element and set its display to flex. Set its justify content center and align item center, so it will place the image perfectly in the center of the btn, and then set its width to 60 pixels and height to 40 pixels, and for the hand pointer, set its cursor to pointer. Awesome. Also remove its border by setting border to none, and also remove its outline by setting outline to none, and set its background to white. And yeah, you can see the button below the image. So to fix it, select the image and set its width to 30 pixels and height to 30 pixels also, or and if we refresh the page, yeah, the btn and the input, everything is okay. You can see the green outline over the comment input. So to remove that, select the comment input and use focus selector, and inside it set its outline to 1 pixels, not border, set its outline to 1 pixel solid and a dark black color. Change that border property to outline. I am thinking why it's not working, but that's the issue. Yeah, now you can see the black outline instead of green outline. That green outline was Chrome's default one. Now the last thing is select the comment count element and set its font weight to, let's say, 600 to make it little bit bolder, and also set its color to this color, and set its font size to, let's say, 0.8 ram to make it little bit smaller. Also give it some margin top, let's say 10 pixels, and yeah, set its opacity to 0.7. So yeah, I guess I we are done with the post. Now let's make the post overlay, the heart icon and the share window. So inside post feed element, make a div element and set its class to post overlay. So this post overlay will contain our heart icon and the share window. So inside it, make an image element, give it source to this. You can find a red heart icon in the icons folder and give it a class of like icon. So this will be the our red like icon, and now let's style it. So you can see the red icon above the image. Now let's style it. So select the post overlay inside the style.css file and set its position to absolute because we want it to over the images, and set its width to 100% and height to 100% also. Set its display to flex and set its justify content center, align item center. So this will make the children exactly in the center. Set its pointer event to none because we really don't want it to have any pointer events. And now let's select the like icon and set its width to 200 pixels. So you can see the heart icon over the post. Great. Now make a show class for the like icon and set its default opacity to 0 and transition to zero point 0.5 seconds. But inside the show class, first of all, let's add the show class to the like icon so that we can be able to see it. Now for the show class, set its opacity back to 1 and set its animation to this because we're going to add a animation to it. After done with it, use at the rate keyframes to make the animation. So now let's make the pop-up animation, and we just change the transform scale property here. So there is nothing you can't understand, so just simply code this animation. But if you have any doubt how this animation work, you can ask me in the comments. So we are done with the animation. You can see it's looking very amazing. The animation, the pop-up effect is smooth and amazing. So we just need to toggle this show class from the JS when we click on the like icon of the post. Isn't it that simple? Yeah. So inside the post.js, select the heart icon, or actually the like icon of the post, and set its equals to document.query selector, and inside it pass the class name of this like icon, and actually pass the post like icon, which is the like btn class. Here inside the detail interactables you can see the btn. So copy this like btn and paste it inside here, and after that make another variable, set its equals to document.query selector, and pass to the like icon class here. So we are selecting the red heart icon and the post like icon. Now add click event to the like btn using add event listener, and inside it select the like image element, and toggle its class using classlist.toggle, and pass the show class to it. So classlist.toggle will toggle the class name, and you can see I'm getting the image icon. If we click on it again, I'm getting it again. Great. Now we have to toggle the black and white icon. So for that, first add a if condition to it. Here we do the same as we did for the heart icon. We'll check whether our like button source includes no fill or not. Basically, we don't want to show the red heart icon when the user is liked. So this condition is checking if the post is liked yet or not. So if the post is not liked, add the show class to the like image using classlist.add, and after the condition use set timeout method to call to remove the show class after 3000 milliseconds or 3 seconds, because 2 seconds is taking the animation length. Yeah, so just remove the show class from the like image after 3 seconds. I hope it makes sense. And if we click on it, yeah, I am getting it. But if I do it again, you can see I'm still getting the red heart icon because I'm not changing the class of like btn now. So let's make a function here, name it change icon, and for the argument make icon here, and copy this whole code and paste it inside there. So change the heart icon here to the icon argument. So we will use change icon function to change the icon. So in the heart icon click event listener, call it and do the same inside like btn click event, call the change icon and pass it like btn. So now it should work. So you can see I got the black like btn and the right, but if I click on it again, I didn't see the animation now. So yeah, that was the thing we are achieving and was doing. Perfect, I guess you understood each and everything. So after the heart icon, let's make the share pop-up window. For that, after the image element, make a div element. Give this div a class of share window. So this will be the share link. Inside it, make an h1 element, give it a class, let's say title, and say it share the post with other. Yeah, after that, make a div and give this div a class of share links container. So this share link container will contain the input. For that, make an input, and this input field will contain the our share link. So give it an ID of share link, and set its value to the link of our post, which is a dummy of course for now. We don't want user to change the input, so add a disable argument at last, and then make a button element and give it a class, let's say copy btn. This will be the btn to copy the text, and inside it just say copy. So if we see the output, you can see we got the heading, we got the input, and we got the button. Now let's style it and make it look awesome. So copy the share window class and paste it inside the style.css file. Set its position to absolute so it will don't interfere with our red heart icon, and then set its top to 50 and left to 50% to make it exactly in the center. To make it exactly in the center, use transform translate -50 -50%. This is a position absolute trick to make the element exactly in the center. Give it a white background and add some padding to it, let's say 20 pixels, and set its width to 70%. Also add some transition to it because we want to hide and show this, so we need some transition. Okay, now select the title, set its font size to, let's say, 1 ram, and set its font weight to 500 to make it little bolder, not much, and set text transform capitalized to make the first letter capital. Also you can give some margin bottom to it to make some spacing between it, the title and the input. Yeah. Now select the share link container element and set its width to 100%, of course. Set display to flex to make the input and the button side by side, and you can give it a border also, let's say 1 pixels. Yeah. Now select the input box using id selector because we have given it a id instead of class. Set its height to 40 pixels, give it a 10 pixels padding, and set its background to this color. Remove its border by border none property, and give its color to this color, and set its width to 100%. Yep. And then let's style the copy btn. So select the copy btn and set its background to this blue color. After the background, remove its border by border none, and also remove its outline by outline none, and then set its cursor to pointer for hand cursor, and set its color to the exact blue color but remove the last two digits, so it will remove the opacity from it, and set its text transform to capitalize to make the first letter capital. Set its width to 100 pixels, and it is looking great. So I guess we are also done with the share window. So set its opacity to 0, and add a active class to the share window and set its opacity to 1. Set its pointer event to all because we are not able to select anything till now, but whenever the share window will have active class, we'll able to select the text from it. So now let's write the JS to pop up the share btn. So select the share btn icon first using document.query selector and pass the send btn class here. And actually I don't think so we have given this class, so change this like btn class to send btn, and also change the comment btn. So yeah, now they are different class names. So we are selecting the send btn. Now select the share window using document.query selector method again. Once you are done selecting those elements, now add a click event to share btn using add event listener. Inside it, toggle the active class using classlist.toggle. So toggle the active class of share window using classlist.toggle, and if we click on it, yeah, you can see it's still popping up, and if we click on it again, it is hiding. Yeah, and call the change icon function and pass the share btn in it, so our send icon will work. Yeah, now you can see it's changing its image source to black and white. Perfect. Now let's make the copy btn functional so our user will be able to copy the link. For that, select the post or select the input element using document.query selector. So copy this share link id from here and paste it here, and also passed dot value there. Yeah, I messed up here. It should be dot value, not dot Arial value max. Well, we'll fix it later. And after the post link, make another variable called copy link btn and set its equals to document.query selector dot copy btn. So we are selecting the button and the share link input. Now add a click event to the copy link btn using add event listener, and inside it use navigator dot clipboard dot write text. Well, navigator dot clipboard will give access to the clipboard to you, and write text will allow you to write its clipboard, and will have to write the clipboard. So write text, inside the write text function, pass the post link, which is the value we want to copy, and after that call dot then. It's mean when our clipboard copy is successful, click on the share btn. So if we click on the share btn by simply calling click function, it will hide the share window since we are toggling the active class on click. Perfect. I hope you understood. And if we click on the copy btn, it is going on, it is hiding, but you can see it's saying null. If I am pasting here, it is saying null because I messed up here. It should be area value max, it shouldn't be that, it should be value. So if I change that to value, and if I click on copy now, I should get the link. Yeah, you can see I got the link and I successfully copied the post link, and that's amazing. Now we have one more issue here. Whenever our share window is open, we don't want to give show this red heart icon. What we want is, whenever we get the red heart icon, we want to hide the share window. So inside the no fill condition, add this if condition also. In this condition, I am checking whether our share btn source include fill or not. If it contain fill, it's mean the share window is active, and if the share window is active, simply hide it by calling share btn.click, and now you can see it's fixed. If I try to like the post, it is hiding the share window. Well, that's great. Now let's make two or three more posts. So just make a two or three more copy of these posts. You can change the image source and the post content if you like. I am fast forwarding this process. It's up to you. Whatever you like, you can change. So if we see the output, well, it's looking good. We have three posts with different post image and the post user image. So there is a problem. What is it? If I click on the activity interactions now, well, I got the red heart icon for the first post, but if I click on the second post, I'm not getting the red heart icon. Why is that? Because I am in the post.js selecting only one post. So I want to select more than one post. So for that, make a function, call it add interaction. call it add interactions to post. So this function we'll use to add interaction it, and for the argument pass post to it, and cut all of this interaction code and paste it inside this add interaction to post function. And since we are going to use more than one post, instead of selecting it using document.query selector, pass here post.query selector, and post.query selector will limit the query selector to search the class within the post element. I hope that makes sense. Now we have to select all the posts. So to select all the posts, use document.query selector all, and again the square bracket and three dot I am using is to destructure the node element array, because sometimes query selector all returns the array which is not a proper JavaScript array. And after that use dot map function to loop through each post, and inside it call add interactions to post function and pass the post element to it, and this will make the post interactions work. So if we click on the heart icon and share window in any post, it will perfectly work. So yes, we are done with the post section and the navbar, and well, it's looking great, isn't it? If you have any issue and have any doubt, feel free to ask me in the comments. I'll be glad to help. Now make the user info and the suggestion section. So after the post container div, make a div element. Give it a class user about section, and inside it make another div and give it a class, let's say user info. So user info will contain the user image and username. So for that make an image element, give it a source, let's say profile image, and give it a class user dp. So this will be the user image, and after that make another div, give it a class info container, and this info container will contain the name of the user and a bio. So for name, make an h1 element and give it a class name, and you can add the name. After that make a p element, and no need to give it a class actually. Inside it you can write a dummy text. This will be the bio. So you can see the image, name and the bio. Well, great. Now let's style it. So copy this user about section class and paste it inside style.css file. Set its width to 40% because our post container have width of 60%, so total is 100%. Set its height to 100% and set its position to relative. This is important. Set its position to relative. Then select the user info and set its width to 100%. Use display to flex to make the image and the info side by side. Set its align item center to make the elements in the center, and gap property will make the gap between them. Now select user DP and let's make it little bit smaller. So for that set its width and height to 120 pixels and set its border radius to 50% to make it a perfect circle. Great. Now select the name element. Set its font size to let's say 1.2 rem and set its font weight to 600 to make it little bolder. Great. Now let's style the info or the bio element. First add margin bottom to the name to make little bit spacing. Now select the info container. Since we don't have any class for the bio, select info container P and set its font size to 0.8 rem. Set its line height to 1.2 rem and set its opacity to 0.8 to make it little lighter. Perfect. Now I guess we need to make some suggestion cards. It's done. So now let's make the suggestion container. For that, after the user info, make a h1 element, set its class name to suggestion heading, and let's say it's suggestion, or you can call it accounts you can follow. Copy this suggestion heading and let's style it in style.css file. So paste it here. Well, it's looking like this. Now let's style it. Set its font weight to 400 pixels because we don't want it more bold, and set its font size to 1.2 RAM. Give it some margin from top and bottom, and yeah, it's good. Also set its text transform to capitalize to make the first letter capital, and yeah, it's good. Now let's make the cards. For cards, make a div and give it a class suggestion container. Inside this, make another div. Give it a class user card because this will be a card. Inside it, make an image element. Give it a user image source and give it a class user dp. Then after the image element, make a p element and give it a class username. This will be the username element, and we need a button for our follow. So make a btn element and give it a class follow btn, and you can type a follow inside it. So our user card will have a user icon, the name, and the follow btn. You can copy this card two more three times, as much as card you like, and you can also change the image source if you like. Great, now let's style those cards. So select the user card inside style.css file, set its min width to 150 pixels. So set its minimum width to 150 pixels and set its background to white. Give it some padding, let's say 20 pixels, and set its border to 1 pixel solid white color, or a dark gray color actually. Yeah, you can see this is like that. Now select the suggestion container because we want to make it side by side. So we're going to use display flex. So set its width to 100% for now and set it display to flex. Display flex will make the card side by side, and set flex wrap to make wrap the divs. Use gap property to add gap between the cards. Perfect. Now select the user card image, which is user dp, and set its width to 80 pixels and height to 80 pixels to make it little bit smaller. Also set its display to block so you'll be able to add margin to it. Well, margin auto will place the image in the center. Great. Now select the username here and set its text align to center to make the text in the center, and set its font size to 1 gram. Also set its font weight to 600 to make it little bolder, and set its margin to 20 pixels from top and bottom. Well, it's looking great. Now we just have to make the follow btn, so let's make it. Now select the follow btn here, set its display to block, and set its margin to auto and this will place the button in the center. Set its width to 80%, give it a height of let's say 35 pixels, give its background to this color, and give its color to white, or actually white color, and set its font size to let's say 1 ram. Also set its text transform to capitalize to make the first letter capital. Set a 1 pixel solid border to it also. So yeah, it's done. Our suggestion cards is looking good and we are done with the posts also. So we are done with the home page. So now let's make the post page. Our post page, first close all the files and then make a post.html file inside the folder, and inside css folder make post.css file. Let's start making the post page. For that, open index.html file first and let's say copy the whole HTML and paste it inside the post.html file, and add the post.css file here, and in the navbar change the home icon to home no fill because we don't want any active icon here. And a navbar is good. You can delete the whole section element except the post element, so you can cut this one post element and then delete the whole section and paste the post element now. So in this page we will only have the navbar and the post. You can see we got the navbar and the post. Great. Now let's style the post. For that, open post.css file and here select the post element. Set its position to fixed because we want it to be in the center. So set its top 50% and left 50%, and to make it exactly in the center use transform property. Set translate to -50% and -50%. This is a trick to make the element in the center. Set its width and height to 75% and 75 VH, and also set a display flex to make the elements side by side. You can see our post is in the center and our elements are coming side by side. Here we don't want our post header to be a separate from post detail. So let's move the post header inside a post detail. So you can find the post header above post feed element. Cut this element here and paste it below the post feed, and select the whole element except the post feed because we will consider everything as a post detail, and wrap that inside a div and call this div feed or whatever you like. So this will wrap the post header and the post detail in one element. So if we refresh our site, we should see our image and detail side by side. You can see it's coming side by side. So great. Now select the post feed element and set its width to 50% because we don't want to cover more than 50% width, and set it height to 100% so it will make the image perfectly covering the 50% only. Great. Now select the feed element, or select the post detail to be precise. You can see we are getting some spacing between the post header and post detail. So remove the padding top from the post detail. So now it gone. Our spacings are equal now. Now select the feed element and let's style it. So give it a position relative, because our comment box will have the position absolute, so we need it to be relative. And set its padding bottom to 40 pixels to make it scrollable, and set it overflow y to scroll because our comments will be overflowing this parent. Great, now let's select the comment box, and here set its position to absolute because we want it to be at the bottom. So set its bottom and right to 0, and give its width to 50%. Also give it some padding, let's say 10 pixels, and set its height to auto because we don't know its current or actual height. Great, but it's covering the 50% of post detail. So to fix this, change the position to fixed, not absolute, and it will fix the issue. Yeah, you can see now our comment box is looking great. Remove the border by using border none, and give a border top to it, let's say 1 pixel solid and a dark gray color. Also give it a white background, and set it set index to 2 to make it over all the elements. Great, so I think we are done, or let's say we are not done. Select the comment input and set its border to 1 pixel solid so it will be little bit visible. And I guess now we are done with the comment box, so now let's make the comments. Sounds great. You can actually remove the comments count because we really don't need that here. So between the post description and comment box, make a div and give it a class, let's say comment container, because it will be our container for comments. Inside it, make a div and give it a class comment card. Our each comment will be a card. Inside it, make an image for user dp, so exactly give it a class user dp. And after that, we need a username and a comment. For that, make a div and set its class to comment body, and this comment body will contain our username and the comment. So make a span element and give it a class username. I misspelled the username here. After that, make a p and give it a class comment, and this will be the main comment. So type anything here, whatever you like. After done with the comment card, make a copy of it and paste it 3 more times, and you can change the user dp if you like, and also you can change the username, it's your preference. We will make it functional in the upcoming videos, but for now it's your choice to change all of it. You can see we got the image and the comment and the username, so great. I guess it's time to style it. Now here select the comments container, set its width to this calculated value. Calc is a CSS function to calculate some values, and here I am setting its width to 100% and adding 30 pixels. So it should not be the negative one, it should be the plus sign. I messed up here, but I'll fix it later. So you can see I got a light gray div, but instead of subtracting it, you have to add it to cover the whole screen. And instead of setting padding right, set its whole padding to 20 pixels. Now it's looking great. Now select the comment card element and set its width to 100%. Set its display to flags to make the image and the text side by side, and use gap property to make gap between them. Set its margin bottom I guess it's looking great. Now select the user DP of the comment card and give it some margin top, let's say 5 pixels. Set its height to 30 pixels and width to 30 pixels also, so it will make the image smaller. Now select the username of comment card and set its font size to 0.8 rem. Also set its opacity to, let's say, 0.5. It's not working. Why? Because I misspelled the username. So correct the class name here. So the output is good. Great. Now last thing, select the comment and also set its font size to 0.8 rem. Great. Now I guess we are done with the comment section and we are also done with the post page. So our activity interaction is also working. Our likes and the send share link is working. We have a beautiful comment section and add comment input. So yeah, we are done with it. Now let's make a user.html file for user page and also make a user.js file because we will need some JavaScript there, and make user.css file inside CSS folder. And now let's code it. For this page, open post.html file and select the whole HTML code here and paste it inside user.html file, and you can delete the post section. Great. And add the user.js file here so we can access it, and also add the user.css file. Notice we want all three CSS files here and all two JS files here. Great. So our navbar is also done in this page. So now let's make a div and give it a class user info. This will be our user information. Inside it, make an image element and give it a source and set its class name to user dp, and make a div with the class info container. This will be the information of our user. So the first one will be the h1 element. Give it a class name. This will be the name of our user. And after that we will have a p element. Give it a class username because it will be the username of the element of the user, sorry. And then again make a p element and add some dummy text to it. Great. So let's see the output, and yeah, you can see the image and the user detail. Great. Now let's style them. So open user.css file. Here select the body element first of all and give it a padding of 0 from top and bottom, and set its left and right to 10 VW. Then select the user info element and set its margin top to 100 pixels. So it will be 100 pixels away from the top, and set its width to 100% for now. Use align item center to make elements in the center. Notice we are using the same class name, so we don't need to give more styles or CSS property to it. We can just modify some CSS properties. Now select the user info container here, or actually select the username of the user info and give it a margin bottom, let's say 10 pixels, and set its font weight to 600 to make it little bolder. Set its font size to 0.9 rem with the color of dark gray. You can use RGB here, or you can by simply set its opacity to 0.5 to make it look like gray color. It doesn't really matter. So now let's make the link element here, because in the Bio we will also have our link, so make a element for that, and you can add any link to the href for now, and give it a class, let's say website link, because of course it will be a website link. And make sure you give the link inside it also to make it little bit visible. Great, now let's style it. So select the website link here, and set its font size to 0.9 trim, and set it display to block to give it a little bit of margin. Set its text decoration none to remove the underline, and set its color to light blue color. Set its font weight to 500 to make it little bolder, and it's looking very awesome. Now make the following count and the followers count. So make a p element after the info container and give it a class numbers, because I don't know what to call it. So I'm calling it number card, and I'm giving a specific class to it, following card of course. Inside it, let's say 2k, and make a span element to tell what it is. Now you select the p element and paste it 3 more times or 2 more times. Change the unique class here, and you can change the inner content also. Now if we see the output, it's looking awesome. Now we just have to make it little bit bigger. So select the number card here, because we have this class as a common class, and set its font size to 4 ram to make it bigger. Set its line height to 1 ram. You can see it's looking bigger, but we don't want the span element to be that big. So select the span element and set its font size to 1 ram. Also set its text align to center to make the text in the center, and give it some margin top, let's say 30 pixels. Give it text transform capitalize to make the first letter capital, and set it display to block. Great. Now let's make the follow button and the edit logout button. So go to user.html page, and after user info make a div. Give it a class, let's say btn container, and inside it make button. Give it a class btn, it is a common class, and give it a specific class follow button. Make 2 more buttons and change the specific class here. Okay, so the output is like this. Now we have to style the button, so select the btn container. Set its margin top to 20 pixels to make some spacing. Since we are going to use display flex, use cap property to make little bit cap, and set your display to flex. Now select the individual btn and set its width to 100 pixels specific. Set its margin to 0 and set its text transform to capitalize. For the hand cursor, set its cursor to pointer. Good. Select the edit btn and the logout btn here. Give it a white background, and also give it a 1 pixels solid dark gray border. Good. It's looking pretty awesome. Now we have to make the post. For that, make a div here. After the btn container, make a div and give it a class post container, because this will contain our post. Inside it, make a div and give it a class post, and inside that make an image element. Give it a image source and set its class to post image, because why not? And after that, make a div and give the class likes, and this will be our overflow or like a hover element. So inside it, give it a image element and set it to be white heart icon. Give it a class icon also, and after that, make a p. Give it a class likes count. Actually, likes count. This will be the count of our post like. And if we refresh the page, it is looking great, but it is having the previous styles. But we don't want previous styles. So for now, copy the post element and paste it 8 more times to make exactly 9 cards, because we have 9 images. And you can change the post image source here. You will not see anything because the posts are having previous styles. So we have to give some specific styles. So select the post container here, give it a margin, let's say 40 pixels from top and bottom, and set its width to 100%, not pixels, 100%. And use display grid here because we will be making 4 columns grid. So use grid template column to make 4 columns, and use gap property to make gap between the columns. Okay, it's not working. Why? So let's first style our post element. So select the post and set its width to 100%, give it border to none, and set its height to 300 pixels. Also set its overflow to hidden, so nothing will be overflow. Give it a margin bottom of 0 and set its position to relative. This is important. Also set its padding to 0. So you can see we get the post like that, but our grid is not working. So let's see why it is not working. Okay, I guess I messed up with the class name. Yeah, it it is post, not post. Now it is good. Now we have to style the images. So select the post image and give it a width 100%. Also give it a height 100% to cover it, the whole container, and use object fit cover to make it fully proportional. It's not working because we have the white heart icon also. So select the likes container here and set its Z index to 2, so it will be over our post image. Set its position absolute, so also it will be over our post image. Set its top to 0 and left to 0 to make it perfectly at the top. Also give it right bottom to 0, so it will cover the whole post container. Give it a margin 0 and set its background to alpha black color. You can use RGB for that. And now you can see white heart icon. Set its display to flex and flex direction to column, because we'll have two elements, the icon and the p element, so it will be right below each other. For that, set its flex direction to center column. Great. Now select the icon element and set its width and height to 40 pixels to make it little bit smaller. And I guess it is great. Select the likes count at last and give it a color of white. And yeah, it's looking good. Now we can set the likes opacity to 0 to hide it, and also give it a transition of 0.5 seconds to give it a smoothness. Add a hover effect to the post. So when we hover the post element, the likes element should be shown. So set its opacity to 1 when we hover the post element. Simple is that. Great. I hope you are getting all of these things. If you stuck somewhere and have any issue, feel free to ask me in the comments. I'll be glad to help you. So after the post container, make a h1 element and give it a class suggestion heading because it will be heading for our suggestion. Yep, it's looking good. Open the index.html file now and copy this suggestion container here. Copy this, make a div element after this suggestion heading and give it a class suggestion slider. This will be the slider of our suggestion cards. Inside it, make an image element and give it a source of carousel arrow image. So this will be the arrow icon and give it a class next arrow. Make a copy of it and set it to pre-arrow and paste that section suggestion container here. Paste that suggestion container after the pre-arrow. Copy the 4 cards from here. Copy some suggestion cards from here, user cards, and paste 2 or 3 more times to make more user cards. Okay, it's looking great. Now let's style it. So select the suggestion slider inside user.css file. Give it a width 100% and set its position to relative. Now select the suggestion container and set its position to relative. This important, set its position to relative. Instead of setting its flex wrap to wrap, override it to no wrap and set its overflow to scroll so that we will be able to scroll the overflow. You can see the overflow, we are able to scroll it, and set its scroll behavior to smooth also. Make sure of that. Now use WebKit scroll bar selector to hide the scroll bar. You can see we are not getting the scroll bar now, but we are still able to scroll. That's great. Now select the next arrow and the pre-arrow buttons, or actually the image elements. Set its height to, let's say, 30 pixels and a width to 30 pixels also. Set its position to absolute. Give it a top of 50% so that we can easily make it exactly in the center, and set it transform to translate by -50% so it will be exactly center in the vertical axis. We can't see it because it is below the user card, so nothing to worry about it. For the hand pointer, set the cursor to pointer and now select the next arrow individually and set its right to -50 pixels. Now you can see the next arrow do the same for the pre arrow, but instead of right, change its left property, set it to -50% pixels. Great. And also give it a transform rotate of 180 degree to make it rotate 180 degree. Great. So it's great. Now let's make it functional. So open the user.js file. Now here select the suggestion container elements here. So I'm making a variable user card container and selecting the suggestion container using query selector method. You can copy this class name here and paste it inside it. So it will select the element. After that, select the next arrow button. Call the query selector method for this also, and inside it give it a next arrow class name. I messed up here because I didn't give the dot at the beginning, so make sure of that. And after that, make a variable, call it container dimension, and set it equal to user container dot get bounding client track. This will return the dimensions of the user card container with the width and height and position, all of that. But we are interested in the width or only. So make another variable, let's say container width, and set it equals to container dimension dot width. So this will give the width of our user card container. After that, set click event to next arrow using add event listener, and inside it change the scroll left of user card container. Since this is the next arrow button, we want to increment the scroll left. So what will this do is this will add the container width to the scroll left amount, so it will be scrolling it to the left side, and do the same for the pre arrow, but instead of incrementing it, decrease it. You can see it's not working, and if I open the console, it's not working because I didn't selected the next arrow and pre arrow properly. So because I messed up the dot here, so add the dot at the beginning and it will work fine, I guess. So if I check it now, yeah, you can see my slider is working fine. Well, the JS was easy, but if you stuck somewhere and if you have any doubt, feel free to ask me. So I guess we are done. We need to make the pop-up post. For that, open the post.html file and copy this post element here. Copy this whole post element, and below the suggestion slide, make a div, give it a class post pop-up. Inside it, make a div and set its class to close overlay. This will be the dark black overlay which will be we use to close the post pop-up. And after that, paste the post element that you copied from the post.html file. And let's see the output. So you can see the post here. Good. Now let's style it. So select the post pop-up inside a user.css file, of course. Set its position to fixed, so it will be stay on the screen no matter however or how much you scroll. And set its width height to 100%, set its top left to 0, and set its z index to 13 to make it over all of the elements. Now select the close overlay element and set its position to absolute. Give it top to 0, left 0, and bottom 0, right 0. So if you set all four properties to 0, it will cover the whole screen. And give it a background of alpha black color. Use RGBA for that. You can see the black overlay and it is below the post, which is great. Now select the post element. Make sure you select the post element using post pop-up class. So in that case, we only select the post pop-up element. Great, great. You can delete the username from here because we really don't need it. And yeah, now set the opacity to 0 and pointer events to none. Pointer events to none is important. Make sure of that. Give it a transition of 0.5 seconds for the smooth effect, and make another class, let's say show, and when the post pop-up have show class, set its opacity to 1 with the pointer event all. Great. So now let's write the JS. So here first Select all the user posts. So make a square bracket and inside it use triple dots. This will destructure the node element or node array, and use document.query selector all because we have more than one element to select. After that, make another variable, call it, let's say, post pop-up post, and use query selector method to select the post pop-up. Do the same to select the close overlay and the post itself. So once we are done with selecting all the elements, use map method to loop through each elements of an array, and case in this case we want to loop through all the posts, and use add event listener to add click event to the posts. Inside it, make another element, let's say image, and here use post dot query selector. Well, the query selector method returns the elements from the HTML, whether you use document dot or post dot. It's just make it where you have to select, and we just wanted to select under the post element. That's why I'm using post dot query selector. Great. And once you select the image, and use classless dot add property to add show class to the pop-up post. I forgot to select the pop-up post image element, so select it using document dot query selector. Well, if you feel this is little bit fast, try to understand it. But if you didn't get it, let me know in the comment. Be I will help you. Well, I'm doing this wrong here. I don't have to select the image element of the post container. I have to select the pop-up post image, which is not this class name, because I am messing up here. It will of course give a error, but we will fix it later. So just let's move on. You can see it's not working because it's giving error. Wow. And I'm an idiot looking why it's not working. So yeah, it will take a little bit of more time for me to figure out why it's not working. Let's see how I'm figuring it. Okay, so I changed the class name. Hopefully it should work. Yeah, it's working. Oof, it took me a lot of time to figure out why it's not working. Great. Now add the click event to the close pop-up button so we can close the pop-up. Inside it, just remove the show class from the pop-up post using classless.remove, and it will work. Yeah, it's working. Great. Our image are being set up, and our pop-up is coming out. Our slider is done, but you can see our activity interactions are not working. Why? Because this post element here is selecting the heart icon for all the post elements, but we don't have heart icon in all the post elements. So re-equal it or redefine it and set its equals to only those posts which are our pop-up posts. Of course it is not working because I messed up again. I gave different class name here. So if you change the class name to post pop-up dot post, it will work. So this was the issue. This was happening because we don't have heart icon in all our ports. Yeah, now it's working and it's looking great. Good, so we are done with the today's video. I hope you understood each and everything. If you have any doubt, feel free to ask me in the comments. I'll be glad to help you. So if you don't want to miss this social media series and also a full stack e-commerce series, make sure you subscribe the channel right now, and also you can download its source code from the description. So thanks for watching.